Good afternoon, folks, and welcome to Vinyl Reveals episode number 5. Now, I know that's a little bit curly-whirly, should we say. But yeah, episode 5, and this has been asked people if they wanted to name the episodes. Nobody really has, but somebody mentioned it. Alan Mutley, I don't know if that's his real name. Mutley might be his surname, but it's quite a cool name. But it's at Alan Mutley 1066 if you want to follow Alan. Really good on Twitter, nice guy. Thanks for all your support, Alan. And he suggested it. No idea, sorry, rubbish with using my imagination for such things. So that is what this episode is unwittingly titled. There you go. And of course, we are at Reveals Vinyl. There we go. Thanks for joining me again. Try and keep this succinct. A little bit of housekeeping before I carry on. On the last episode, I think possibly, I had a copyright because I played the track at the end, and I'll speak over it anyway, and you can hardly hear it. But somebody slapped a copyright on it that I can't monetize the video. Not as I'm in a position to monetize any of my videos at the moment, I hasten to add. But going forward, I don't really think it's I don't see the point in really putting the record on at the end. So what I'll do is I'll put a little link when I post the video, put a little link on Spotify choosing 3 tracks, which I suggest maybe you just want to have a little listen to, and maybe listen to those 3 tracks and then maybe listen to the whole of the album. So that just sort of saves me getting up and you see my arse when I get up, and so just cut down on the time a little bit as well. So but without further ado, let's get on to today's vinyl reveal, and this is from Norman Records, who are a internet-based shop in Leeds. So they haven't got a physical shop that you can go to, I don't think. And then I think somebody I follow on somebody I follow on Twitter, I think they'd ordered it from them and said, thanks for the quick delivery and turnaround. So I thought, I've not ordered from those guys before, so we'll give them a go. And so I've ordered from them. Quite a big presence on the internet. I've noticed a few people ordering from them. So, and it turned up in good time, not as quick as it had for the other person, admittedly, but it did turn up. I think they were waiting for stock, apparently. But there you go, after Vinyl's reveal, and I've just scribbled some crap on there. But it's nice and easy to get into, and coming from an internet record shop, it's should be packaged and protected fairly well. And today's vinyl reveal is this album here, from a band called BDRMM. I don't know if that's short for bedroom, but the album's called Bedroom. Or do you pronounce it Bedroom? Was it BDRMM? No idea what it stands for. Does it stand for the initials of the guys' names? No idea. Who cares? It's interesting. So there we go. And this album was first came into my attention from a guy called Lee on Twitter. Hello, Lee. You know who you are. I'll show you his little Twitter handle later. Guy who's really knows his stuff. Based in Italy, but from these shores originally, I assume. Sorry, Lee. Sorry for not knowing a little bit more about you, mate. But there you go. And he brought this band to my attention about a month ago, and so I've sort of hung around, listened to it a little bit, 100% sure, and then give it a bit more of a listen. I thought, yeah, I'm gonna plump for this. It's interesting. So here we go. We're into it, and I shall get the plastic wrap off first. And this is debut album by BDRMM. I don't know. I need an easier way of saying it. I'll just call them BD, I think. And it's on red vinyl with a download code. And I'll open it up first, so before talking about the cover and whatnot. I'll try to open it up, as I say. And the genre of this is is a kind of shoegaze dream pop, I suppose you'd call it, between those two somewhere. Straddles those two somewhere. But yeah, let's talk about the cover. I don't really know what to say about it. To be honest, it's a very close up of what could be leaves. I don't know. I'm kind of guessing. Or it could be ice in a glass. It looks a bit like trodden leaves to me, unless I'm missing something clearly obvious. You tell me. If BD, I'll call them BD now. I'm sure they do know what the hell it is. We'd hope they would. Please let me know. Actually, just put a bit of a close up of what's on the back, and that's probably not much clearer either. So, actually, is that just like some rubbish? Condensed, packed up, recycled. What do they call those things? Yeah, when all rubbish is compacted and put together. That's kind of what it looks like. I'm not sure if that's what it is. But there on the back, we've got Bedroom, which is the name of the album. I'll put my glasses on. That's to save me touching them loads of times. So I'll put them on the top of me head and I'll keep touching the bloody thing. So we've got Bedroom, which is the title of the album. It's recorded and mixed by Alex Greaves at the Nave in Leeds, which is interesting. They're from Hull, this band, so not too far from Leeds, obviously. And it's mastered by Heba Kadri, interesting name. Music and words by BDRMM. And then we've got Side A, we've got Momo, Push Pull, A Reason to Celebrate, Gush, Happy, open brackets, The Silence, close brackets. Side B, Unhappy, so they've got a song called Happy. On B side they've got a song called Unhappy, which is quite interesting, quite like that. And then they've got a song called If, and then Is That What You Wanted to Hear, question mark, and Forget the Credits. And this is on a record label, Sonic Cathedral, and the record code is SCR160LP. Yeah, under exclusive license from Sonic Cathedral. I think they had an EP last year, I believe, before this. Not loads of content before this first album came out, which is cool. And so there's the back with that slightly less obscure picture, but still fairly bleeding obscure. Well, there you go. I don't mind that. It's quite nice. Black and white. I quite like the black and white feel to it. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. I'm sort of keen, as we were saying, for their first album. It's intriguing, like the band, and maybe that's what they're trying to get across. So let's get inside. I'll put that down there. And download code is in there at the bottom. And then we've got printed in the sleeve. And there again we've got this mystery pile of crap, call that. The image is a pile of crap. I quite like the design, got this circle going on and they've quartered the kind of thing up. And then it's just an explanation of who's in the band, and we've got the text nice and big at the bottom, you can't miss that. Ryan Smith is on guitar and vocals. We've got Jordan Smith, not sure if they're related or not. I think they are, possibly. On bass, we've got Luke Irvin on drums, Joe Vickers on guitar, and Danny Hull, from Hull, I assume, on synth and vocals. Additional writing by Alex Greaves. The artwork for this and the design is by Jordan Smith. So, well done, Jordan. I'm fairly happy with that. Good stab at it. We've got some special thanks there to a load of people, which I won't bore you with particularly. And then on the other side, we have the lyrics, which at first I thought, well, it's quite sort of sparse lyrically, this album, as you can probably tell. That's all the lyrics through the entire album, which is fair enough. I mean, each to their own. Some have got a lot more than others, and there are 2 instrumentals on here, one to start, so we'll get into that in a little bit. But yeah, we've got, it's just on the black background with looks like they've probably reversed that picture somewhere and used a little bit of that. The lyrics are nice and big there, all fairly succinct, and it'd be interesting to actually read the lyrics because when I get into the review, they're kind of in the back of the mix a little bit kind of not muffled, but just sort of not at the forefront of the mix, which is fair enough. I don't mind a bit of ambiguity there with lyrics wise sometimes, and you know, that's the way they want to be. And I think they've produced a good album, a decent album. So there we go. There's the design, front, back, inside, printed on sort of a gloss again. Not particularly keen on gloss, to be honest. One, it's bloody difficult to get the record out. Seems to stick to it. This is particularly tight. Incredibly tight, actually. I'll get there. Oh God. Yeah. So what I'm saying, don't use gloss for your inside covers. Just go in matte or some paper that's uncoated. Be quite nice. Yeah. So lesson for the future. BDRMM. And then we've got inside. That's nice and simple. We've got red, solid red vinyl. We've got a nice big A on the front. Can't go wrong with that. 33 RPM. That's all it says in the record, the code. SCR 160LP. And then on the B side, we've got a nice big B blending off there. There you go. Again, this is something I've picked up on, but they're not, you know, the A's there and the B's that way. So it'd be nice if, I always think it'd be nice if maybe there's something in the process that they're always at a certain angle on one side and an angle on the other. Maybe there's something there. I'll have to go through all my records and see. Be quite interested to find out. Let's start with side A. I've got a little bit of residue on side B. It's probably something where the record got stuck in the sleeve, to be honest. Let's just see if there's anything on the runoff. Yeah, there's just like a general code there. There's nothing excitedly scratched into the runoff on this, which is fair enough, but I like that. Nice and simple graphically. I don't think you need any more than that. Sometimes it's nice to have the tracks on and things like that, but I'm happy enough with that as a first off. It looks cool. It's fairly minimal. I like the red with the white and the black. That's been nicely thought through. I think that works. There's a red sticker on the front, so it kind of ties in there. Yeah, I like that. Interesting stuff. So I'll give that a spin a little bit later, and just tell a little bit more about these guys. And the album came out on July the 3rd. Was the release date. It's got the 5 members, as we've said, and they're from Hull. I think we've crossed that. Dream pop, shoegaze, that kind of feel. I just got the feel of this, not a concept album per se, but it kind of almost had that kind of feel to it. It all hung together quite nicely. It's fairly traditional in a way. I say like shoegaze. It's not My Bloody Valentine. You know, it's quite heavy, lots of feedback. This kind of feel. It wasn't like that per se. It's a bit more traditional in a way, like the playing, I thought. And you've got your traditional instruments in there. There is some synth in there, but I don't think there's like overboard of synth throughout this. But it hangs together. It's quite emotive. It's quite I won't call it particularly dark, but it's you're kind of immersed in it a little bit. And you know, there's some good solid musicianship on there, I think. But I think it's a sound all of their own a little bit. But you know, take a listen, and I think you'll like it. And just getting into it a little bit more. Well, I've written it down. It feels a bit like Sunday morning music, a little bit. And I think it might take a few repeated listens. I was into it a couple of times the first time, and it kind of, I think, repeated listen on this, you could easily get a little bit turned off it, possibly. But it's haunting. It's got a certain feel to it, and they're young guys. I think they're like early 20s, and it's sort of growing up angst. It's quite difficult to actually know what the lyrics are, and then with hearing it first time, because they're back in the mix a little bit, so it's a little bit difficult. It'd be nicer to listen to it. I'll take in the lyrics a bit more, and I suggest when you buy it, you get more out of it by knowing what the lyrics are, I think you'll enjoy it more, personally. And as an aperitif, the first track is an instrumental, and that quite sets it up quite nicely. It's kind of, this is what you're going to get. So it sets their sound out, and it sets out their stall, little aperitif, and then we're kind of into it. Simple chord. He's got quite a haunting voice. There's a little bit of, there's been some playing around with the voice. Got a few swaves of tension I've got there, and that's the second song, Push Pull. Well, that was a good song, one of their best songs on the album. Atmospheric, and there's a lyric in there, you don't know how much it meant to me that we spent that night so carefree. So they've got some, some nice lyrics there. As I say, it's sparse lyrically, but it's got a nice feeling to it, and they don't particularly sound like anybody else. Can't really pinpoint them. Sound, you've got a bit of Ride in there, a bit of Chattrace, and then but you've got a bit of kind of Radiohead, more traditional post-punk rock sound maybe. So it's a nice mix. It's unsurprising in a surprising way. I don't know how to put it. And then number 3, A Reason to Celebrate. I thought that was one of their best songs, one of their top songs on here. It's okay for you to walk away. There's a repeating line in there which is quite anthemic. This one's quite anthemic compared to the rest of them, I quite liked, and it's got ebb and flow to it. Another good song there next called Gush. So it's a good start. It's a good A-side. It's got chiming and cascading guitars, I made a note, and this was a single, I believe. It's got an interesting rhythm to it. Again, vocals are back in the mix. We've got a couple more songs. Number 6, The Silence, felt like you're kind of underwater almost, or in a cave. Feel like you're drowning a little bit in the sound. It's quite simple sounds, but they've been very clever here, and for a first album, I think they've kind of set their stall out here. It'd be interesting to see where they go next with it. I'd like to see, maybe the lyrics come on a bit, get a bit more experimental with the lyrics, a bit more synth in there, maybe a bit more light and dark. It can, I'm not sure if there's quite enough light and dark in it for me at times, but it's still very interesting. And yeah, give it. There's some interesting sounds in there they've made. They've got the pedals out and done some interesting stuff with the guitar sounds, things like that, all the way through it. Some nice ebb and flow in it. You never get, there is differences, there's subtle differences, I'd say, more so than, my God, this is amazingly different from the other one. And it's like the sound all the way through. A couple of the songs bleed into the next song, which is quite nice, and it's got that feel to it where you're almost listening to one sound, and a nice lot of songs that sit so well together. You're just like on a wave, and they're just like this. That's the feeling I get from it. Number 8, If. That's another great song. It gives you a real start at the start. It's quite heavy. It's a bit more heavy, a bit more wedding present. You'll recognise that sound. It's quite heavy, but then it goes down, and it's got this lyric, "Bring the other down," in it. I quite like, and that's a repeated lyric, quite layered, and it's an interesting ending as well on that one. And then number 9 is That What You Wanted to Hear. Ascending guitar. It's got a moving feel in the eeriness again, but you're never bored with this. It is an interesting album to get your head around. And number 10 is Forget the Credits at the end, and that's quite a nice end. Again, might not be quite what you're expecting. Might be expecting a big, heavy, but they're true to their sound. I think they're not trying too hard to be conventional, and they've come up with a nice sound, and it's a very interesting album. Good building block. I've put juxtaposed. Needs a bit more juxtaposition of light and dark, I would say personally, but it holds together well. There's good mood to it, yeah, it's good stuff. It would kind of brighten your mood. It's not depressing. It's not, but it's not it straddles a line, and I think that's one of the things about this. It straddles the line between different sounds and different moods, but it chill you out. I think Sunday morning, pop this on, get to know it better, get to know the lyrics and I think it's an enjoyable album, a really good starting point for this band, BDRMM. So I think that was it. Yeah, if the next album's the same, I feel I'm not sure how it would go down. So I think there's a lot to build on. But this is a really great start, and it takes some listening, but one of the better albums I've heard this year. First albums, and they've done a good job, so I'm happy. So as I say at the start, I will put a link onto BDRMM, new first album, Bedroom, and I'll put a link on, so have a listen to it and get to know the lads and enjoy the album. And Lee, who recommended it, is at ELH02203. Really memorable, that one, Lee. Well, thank you for suggesting this band and bringing them to my attention. And I've got the album. I'm going to give it a play and listen to it on vinyl. And yeah, enjoy. All the best. Take care. Thanks. Bye.